Welcome to the Athletics of Indiana podcast. Today we're going to talk about something pretty dramatic, actually, for Hoosier Nation. The upcoming 2025 football season.
Sure.
If you're like us, you're probably still buzzing from that absolutely historic 2024 season.
Oh, absolutely. Unforgettable.
Indiana Hoosiers football, shocking the college world. An unbelievable 11-1 record, a college football playoff appearance, and, a legit Heisman Trophy contender in Curtis Rourke, who actually saw that coming.
It was an incredible transformation. Just incredible. Under Coach Curt Cignetti, this program went from, the perennial Big Ten underdog, the team you just pencil in for a loss,
right,
to a genuine powerhouse. They didn't just break records, they completely shattered them, earned national respect in a way that, like you said, truly nobody anticipated. It sort of redefined what Indiana football could even be. And what a statement it was. But okay, now it's 2025, and the glow of last season is still pretty bright. But the single biggest question, I think, on everyone's mind is, was it sustainable? Can they actually do that again?
Mm-hmm.
This season brings new, pretty significant challenges. We're talking a notably tougher schedule and some really big roster turnover, especially the loss of Rourke, who was, obviously pivotal.
That sustainability question is, it really is the overarching narrative for 2025, isn't it? It's not just about piling up wins. It's about cementing the program's new identity, proving that 2024 wasn't just like a perfect storm or a fluke.
Exactly.
It's about showing Cignetti's system can consistently develop talent and, crucially, adapt to change. That's the real measuring stick this year.
And that's exactly what we're getting into here. We're going to provide an in-depth, game-by-game breakdown of Indiana's 2025 season. Today, we're focusing specifically on games 5 through 8.
Yeah, that middle stretch. Crucial. Right. Our goal is to rigorously evaluate each opponent, predict how Indiana's going to perform, and, figure out the likely winners. We're using what we kind of call Vegas sportsbook style criteria, looking at team strengths, who's coming back, betting odds, recent performance trends, all that stuff.
And if we look beyond just the individual games, understanding this specific block of games is critical. It's really going to define the Hoosiers' midseason path. It's where they'll either confirm their new status as a real Big Ten contender or, maybe reveal some cracks in the foundation.
Yep.
This stretch gives us a strong read on the program's overall health and adaptability, especially post-Rourke.
Precisely. Now, just a heads up, this is the second block of games we're hitting. We already broke down the first 4, and later on, we'll tackle the final 4 regular season games and give our overall season prediction. Okay, let's unpack this first one then. Week 5. Sounds like we're settling in for a bit of a defensive slugfest here.
Indeed. Yeah, we're looking at Saturday, September 27th. A home game against Iowa. Now, Iowa, as we all know, is just fundamentally built on defense, stout defense.
Always.
They allowed, 15.8 points per game in 2024? Just miserly. And they should return a pretty strong unit again. However, their offense, that remains the elephant in the room, doesn't it?
Big time.
Lost QB Cade McNamara. Lost RB Caleb Johnson. Last year, their offense averaged a mere 21.9 points per game.
Yeah.
It's not great. Their new quarterback's got a lot to prove, especially against a defense like Indiana's. What's truly fascinating about Iowa, though, is how they consistently manage to win ugly. It's their brand.
And that's where Indiana's outlook gets really interesting, I think. Our Hoosiers defense led the entire nation in run defense in 2024, which frankly is just an insane stat when you think about it.
It really is.
That means they are perfectly equipped, maybe uniquely equipped, to handle Iowa's notoriously run-heavy, grind-it-out kind of scheme. Offensively, even without Rourke, you got to think QB Tyler Mendoza's ability to stretch the field, plus having a star like Donovan Surratt out wide.
Yeah.
They could seriously exploit Iowa's secondary, which, lost some key starters.
Good point.
And let's not forget, playing at home. Bloomington. That gives us a significant edge. This isn't just physical, it's mental too, and Indiana has that confidence now. They expect to win these games.
From a sportsbook angle, Indiana's likely going to be maybe a 6 to 7 point favorite at home. That reflects both Indiana's 2024 dominance and, Iowa's persistent offensive issues. The over-under, projected to be quite low, maybe around 42 to 44 points. Makes sense, given both teams' defensive strengths.
Classic Big Ten number.
Exactly. But here's maybe the deeper insight. Indiana's 8-1 record against the spread, ATS, in 2024. For those maybe unfamiliar, that means they consistently beat the odds makers' expectations for the final score difference. That's not just luck. It suggests a team that's well-coached, develops players effectively, and just finds ways to outperform projections. That's a huge X factor for betting and for understanding this team's real grit.
Okay, my prediction, Indiana wins. It'll be tough, a grinded-out game, but I'm saying 24-17. That gets them to a fantastic 5-0 start. The atmosphere in Bloomington for that one, going to be absolutely electric.
Yeah, should be a good one.
Now, we shift gears dramatically. Week 6, October 4th, Indiana travels to Oregon. This is a monster game, a real test.
Oh, yeah. Circle that one.
Oregon was a national title contender in 2024, finished 13-1. Yeah, okay, they lost QBs, Dylan Gabriel, several key guys to the NFL draft, but let's be real. They are still a Big Ten powerhouse under Dan Lanning.
Absolutely. Reloading, not rebuilding.
Their offense put up, almost 35 points a game in 24? Blistering.
Right.
And their defense is versatile, allowed just over 21 points. This is a truly formidable team, especially playing at home in Eugene. That place is notoriously one of the most hostile spots in college football. You almost need earplugs just watching on TV sometimes.
This is unequivocally Indiana's toughest test of the season.
Yeah.
No question. Oregon's sheer speed, their depth at pretty much every position that's going to severely challenge Indiana's secondary. It's a real litmus test back there. And that hostile road environment, yeah, that could absolutely rattle a newer quarterback like Mendoza, even with his high ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana's elite run defense will face its absolute sternest challenge yet against Oregon's balanced attack. They can hit you with power, with finesse. The Hoosiers are going to need, a near-perfect game, 0 mistakes, maybe a few lucky bounces, just to compete. And beyond just the result, this Oregon game, like you said, it's a true measuring stick. How far has this Indiana program really come against the absolute top tier? The key insight isn't just win or lose, but how do they handle that speed? Do they force turnovers? Keep it close. Or do they fold? That's the real read on their progress.
Okay, turning to the betting lines. It's pretty clear how Vegas sees this one. Oregon's likely a massive favorite, maybe 14 to 17 points. Given their home dominance, I use roster turnover plus that long cross-country flight.
Yeah, that's a big number, but probably fair.
The over-under will probably be higher, thinking around 54. Oregon's expected to score probably well over 30. Indiana's best shot at covering that big spread. It relies heavily on forcing turnovers, something they did exceptionally well in 2024, finishing with the 5th best turnover margin in the country. That's kind of their secret weapon, if they have one here.
Yeah, they'll need a couple of those takeaways. My prediction for Week 6, Oregon wins 38-20. Indiana drops to 5-1. It's a tough loss, sure, but it's the kind of game that either exposes some weaknesses or maybe even forges a stronger team long term.
All right, so after that Oregon test, here's where it gets really interesting for Indiana, I think. A chance to bounce back strongly. Week 7, October 11th, we're back home against Michigan State.
Right. Michigan State, under new coach Jonathan Smith, went 5-7 in 2024. They're still facing a lot of uncertainty, particularly with quarterback Aiden Childs' development. That's a big question mark.
Yeah.
Their offense was pretty inconsistent last year, averaged just over 24 points per game. Their defense, though, it can be opportunistic.
Yeah.
Allowed about 27 points per game. This is absolutely a winnable game for Indiana, especially at home. A chance to really reestablish momentum after Oregon.
I agree completely. Indiana's passing game, Mendoza to Surratt, that connection should be able to exploit Michigan State's secondary. Mendoza thrives on those big plays. Defensively, our pass rush, led by the incredible Kamara, has the potential to absolutely pressure Childs into making costly mistakes. He's still young, still prone to those. And that home field advantage in Bloomington, especially coming off a tough road trip like Oregon, that will definitely boost Indiana's chances. Nothing quite like Memorial Stadium when it's really rocking.
But looking at it from the sportsbook's view, Indiana could be, maybe a 7 to 9 point favorite in this matchup. This prediction is kind of bolstered by Indiana's dominating home performances in 24, like that absolute crushing 66 solo win over Purdue.
Yeah, that was something.
That wasn't just a win, it was a statement, right? The over-under for this game, probably around 50 points, with Indiana expected to do most of the scoring work. And again, Indiana's impressive 8-1 ATS record from 2024. It strongly supports betting on them to cover that kind of spread. It really speaks to their disciplined play under Cignetti.
My prediction. Indiana wins this one, 31-20. They get back on track, bring their record to a very respectable 6-1. They reclaim their confidence with some authority there.
It's all right. Solid bounce back.
And now, Week 8, October 18th. Indiana heads out west again, this time, to face UCLA. This one could be kind of fascinating. UCLA, second year in the Big Ten now. They struggled in 2024, finished 4-8 under their new coach, Deshaun Foster. They've had real issues with depth, offensive consistency, only put up about 23 points a game. Their defense, also pretty vulnerable, allowed over 28 points per game. Now they play in the Rose Bowl, which okay, technically gives them a slight home advantage, but honestly, their fan support is pretty lackluster.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's certainly shaping up as a favorable matchup for Indiana, given UCLA's struggles on both sides of the ball. Their offensive inconsistency, that vulnerable defense, it aligns pretty well with Indiana's strengths, particularly that disciplined defense and the opportunistic passing game.
Right. And okay, this is where I might make a bit of a controversial statement, maybe. What does that really mean for home field advantage when you don't have that roaring crowd?
No.
It feels like Indiana can almost treat this like a neutral site game, doesn't it?
Hmm.
I mean, if the fans aren't there creating that truly hostile environment, how much of an advantage can it really be for UCLA? I'd argue it's minimal, almost negligible, especially for a confident team like Indiana coming off a great year. It's not like walking into Columbus or Happy Valley, you know?
Okay, I see your point about the crowd noise, or lack thereof. And you're absolutely right. UCLA's fan support doesn't generate that same intimidation factor as, say, Penn State or Ohio State. But I push back a little on it being negligible.
Okay.
What's noteworthy here is that even a slight home advantage, as you called it, it accounts for more than just the fan noise, right? It includes familiarity with the specific field, the grass, the sight lines. There's no travel fatigue for the home team after a week of practice.
True, the travel is a factor.
Right. And established routines. Indiana still has to fly cross-country, adjust to the time zone, sleep in a hotel, eat different food. It kind of raises this important question about how we quantify home advantage beyond just decibel levels. Even without a deafening crowd, the inherent logistics, the comfort of home, it still tilts the scale, however slightly, in the home team's favor. It's not a fortress, maybe, but it's definitely not a truly neutral site either. Travel matters.
Okay, I hear you. And the travel is definitely a factor. You got me there. But for a team coming off a historic year with the confidence Indiana should have, I still think the psychological impact of a relatively quiet Rose Bowl means they can play their game without feeling like they're truly on hostile ground. They're not going to be rattled like they might be elsewhere.
Fair enough. The mental aspect is different.
So for betting criteria, Indiana's likely a favorite on the road here, maybe 4 to 6 points. The over-under could be around 48 to 50, I'd guess, with Indiana expected to score in the high 20s, low 30s. And again, Indiana's consistent ATS success, plus UCLA's overall inconsistency, it strongly favors the Hoosiers covering here. It just feels like a game they should win, maybe even comfortably.
Yeah, I tend to agree on the outcome. My prediction for Week 8, Indiana wins 34-24, moves them to an impressive 7-1. This is a game where Indiana can really assert themselves offensively on the road and gain some crucial confidence heading into the back end of the schedule.
All right, so let's quickly recap our predictions for this key stretch, games 5 through 8. We're projecting Indiana to win that defensive battle against Iowa, 24-17, improving to 5-new. Then the toughest test, that road loss at Oregon, 38-20, dropping the Hoosiers to 5-1.
Yep.
They bounce back, though, at home against Michigan State, a solid 31-20 victory, bringing their record to 6-1.
Get back on track.
And finally, that road win against UCLA, 34-24, moving the Hoosiers to a projected 7-1 after 8 games, only loss coming to that formidable Oregon team. That's a very, very strong midseason showing.
Yeah, if you'd offered that before the season, I think most fans take it. To summarize the key narrative points from this 4-game stretch, Indiana's navigating significant roster turnover, especially at QB, but looks poised to really capitalize on their defensive strengths. That nation-leading run D, the aggressive pass rush.
Key identity pieces.
Exactly. Offensively, the passing game, even with a new guy under center, seems capable of exploiting weaknesses and putting up enough points. The real significance here is that even after that historic 24 season, this team is projected to overcome challenges, handle a tougher schedule, and maintain a really high level of performance. That speaks volumes about the program's new foundation under Cignetti and its long-term potential. They're kind of proving their staying power, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, sitting there at 7-1, what does this strong start actually mean for the Hoosiers' ultimate goals? Can they keep this momentum going, maintain that impressive ATS record through the really tough final stretch? Because the back end of the schedule is still looming large. What kind of legacy will this team, the 2025 team, carve out? Will they truly prove that 2024 wasn't just some flash in the pan?
The big questions remain.
They do. Join us next time as we break down those final 4 games of the regular season and give our final overall record prediction. You are definitely not going to want to miss that.